Good morning, community. It's a little brisk out this morning. We've had just like drizzle, not a lot of rain at all, like less than 1/10 of an inch, but we're loving the damp, cool mornings and the afternoons today. We may hit 80 degrees. That's very exciting for us. So yesterday, I had some questions pop up while we were harvesting our sweet potatoes because I mentioned that we were going to cut some of the vines and start slips for next year. So I'm going to go over that today. And if you do this, and if you're successful, you won't have to buy sweet potato slips anymore. You will have your unlimited supply and you'll get a jump on planting in the spring. Let's get started. So here is where I harvested some of our sweet potatoes yesterday. And I want to go ahead and get some of these vines because this is their second year here. So they'll be third generation, but you want to be sure and get you a cutting from a healthy vine. So I'm just going to take this vine right here and I'm going to cut. And then I'm going to snip off these lower leaves. And I'm going to pop them in a jar of water. Now guys, I'm not using chlorinated water. This is coming from the well, so you either want to use filtered water or well water or rainwater. Any of those should do. And now we have several different varieties, so I'm going to clip these back at the varieties and you'll be able to tell by your leaves. In the little greenhouse, this is a different variety and you can tell by the leaves. So I'm going to cut some of the healthy vines off of this one. And you can see that's pretty darn healthy. And go ahead and put these in a separate jar with water. So I have this second variety in a different jar. And you can see I cut off all the leaves off the bottom. And then I have some growing in this raised bed. So I'm going to cut some of these vines off and put in that third jar. Here are some I started about 10 or 12 days ago, and you can see they've already rooted out. And so I have my 3 different varieties here. I'm going to set them out. We're going to let them root and then what? So once your plants root out, you want to try to find a container that you can put them in and let them go ahead and start getting vines going over the winter. It could be a sunny place in your kitchen or your living room. Just put it in some soil, put it in a pot, and you want to try to keep your vines growing throughout the winter. And then whenever, say, February, March rolls around, depending on where you're at, you want to clip those vines again, put them in some water, just like I did, and let them root out, and then they should be ready to plant on time in the spring. So what we're going to do is, these are just about ready to pick, probably a couple more days. These were overwintered in this high tunnel. I planted these last year, right before the winter, and it stayed warm enough for them to come back. But we'll probably take those ones I did, and once they root out, and we'll put them in a 28-gallon tub in one of the high tunnels, and we'll try to keep those warm and overwintered as well, so that when we have vines starting to come out, we can go ahead and clip them back February, March, maybe even April, get some roots going and plant them sometime in April. And that's really what we do here in Texas, is plant them sometime in April after the threat of a frost or a freeze. So it's very easy to save vines from your sweet potato harvest this year. I strongly encourage you to do that because they'll be acclimated to your area. Those out there, again, were second year plants. Now also, if you get small tubers and not any larger sweet potatoes that you really feel like you want to mess with or cook, save some of those tubers, wrap them up, let them cure, and wrap them up in some newspaper, put them in a cool, dry place, and then you can also plant those when it gets a little closer to your time and see if you can get some vines. But this seems to be working for us by putting the vines in these tubs and keeping them warm as we can over the winter, and that might require us clipping them back whenever we have a frost or a freeze if they start to vine out pretty heavily before that, or covering them up and keeping them warm. But again, if you have a nice place in your house where there's a sunny window or a back porch where you can move it easily, just get you a couple of vines started for your growing next year. I hope this helps answer some of your questions. If not, be sure and shoot me a comment, or you can shoot me an email at hbjtexas2020@gmail.com. I'll be glad to help or answer any questions you may have. But yeah, there's no need to continue paying for sweet potato slips, and even waiting maybe till it's a little bit too late, because it depends on where you buy them from when they ship them to you. So go ahead and save some of yours this year. Try to keep them as safe as you can, and give it a shot and get you some second generation sweet potatoes. We love you guys. Take care. God bless. Hope this helps. See you soon.